The house was still, wrapped in that heavy, after midnight hush you only get when the world finally clocks out. My son, Ethan, 10 years old and tougher than he should have to be, was asleep in his room, his old soccer jersey bunched up under his cheek, sneakers tossed by the door. I sat in my creaky armchair in the living room of our small rental in Maplewood, Ohio, laptop glowing faintly on the coffee table, ignored. This was my vigil, a habit carved deep since my wife, Emily, left us 3 years ago. Her absence was a void I couldn't fill, her laughter and soft humming replaced by a silence I had to wrestle into submission every night. At 1:47 a.m., on a chilly October night in 2024, my watch buzzed a single, quiet pulse from the system I'd built to keep Ethan safe. My eyes, already open, flicked to the alert. KTN, W2, kitchen window sensor. The magnetic seal had snapped. This wasn't a glitch. I ran diagnostics at 9 p.m. sharp. Someone was in my house. I closed the laptop without a sound, my movements honed from years of grief and necessity. In my gray hoodie and socks, I glided across the hardwood, barefoot to avoid creaks I'd memorized. I wasn't always this careful. I'm an IT guy, used to fixing servers, not playing Sentinel. But losing Emily and facing the relentless harassment of our HOA president, Margaret Voss, a former sheriff's deputy, who ruled our cul-de-sac like her personal fiefdom, changed me. She'd targeted us since we moved in, a single dad and his quiet kid. Our mailbox was too faded, our hedge too wild, our porch light too bright. Petty nonsense, but Margaret wielded it like a blade, her notices piling up, each one a jab at our fragile peace. After Emily, they came faster, sharper, as if she smelled weakness. When I put up a doorbell camera, she called it a visual blight and sent fines. I quoted the bylaws back, no rule against it. That's when her inspections started, her standing on the sidewalk, clipboard in hand, staring at our house like a vulture circling a carcass. The tablet on the hall table glowed to life, showing the kitchen in grainy low-light. The window was open, and a shadow slid through Margaret, in a dark jacket, moving with the smug precision of someone who'd worn a badge too long. She thought she was silent, invisible. She didn't know the house was watching, whispering her every move to me. My system wasn't loud alarms. Those invite defiance. It was silent sensors, hidden cameras, a fortress disguised as a home. I'd built it because the local cops, her old buddies, called her harassment a civil matter. Emily would have hated what I'd done to our place: steel shutters hidden in walls, UV dye on latches, a fog system that could blind an intruder in seconds. She loved open windows, sunlight. But she wasn't here to see the way Margaret's eyes followed Ethan when he played outside, or to read the anonymous tips she sent to child services, claiming I wasn't coping. I passed Ethan's room, door locked as we'd drilled. Waking him was the worst part, stealing his sleep to face the world's ugliness. My palm pressed against his door, two soft knocks, our signal. A rustle, then the click of his lamp going dark. He was awake, moving to the reinforced closet with his walkie-talkie, just like we practiced every Saturday. At 10, my kid had a better emergency plan than most adults, and it broke my heart that he needed one. The tablet showed Margaret in the kitchen, flashlight slicing through the dark, zip ties in her other hand. Zip ties. No HOA rule justified that. She was here to intimidate, to break us. I toggled my pocket camera's mic. This is Nathan Carter, KTN, W2 breach, timestamp live, 1:48 a.m. I whispered, pulling on nitrile gloves to keep my prints clean. Emily, keep him safe. Margaret tested the locked pantry door, her lockpick set glinting. She was good. Tumblers clicked softly, betraying her experience. How many homes had she invaded under the guise of compliance? The door gave way. She smirked, stepping into the dining room. I spoke, calm but sharp. That's far enough, Margaret. She froze, flashlight jerking wildly, searching for me. Who's there? She barked, her voice cracking despite the ex-cop bravado. Nathan Carter, I said, stepping into her beam, unfazed. You're in my house, Margaret Voss, HOA president, ex-deputy. No right of entry. She recovered fast, chin up. I'm here for an emergency inspection. Suspected gas leak. A lie so blatant it was almost laughable, delivered with zip ties and lockpicks at 1:48 a.m. No such right, I said. You broke in. I have you on camera. Her eyes darted to the ceiling, hunting for lenses she'd never find, pinhole cameras tucked in outlets, smoke detectors, hardwired to a locked server. "Stand back, Nathan," she snapped. "This is official." "Burglary's not official," I countered, tilting the tablet to show the red lock icon. "Your move." Fear flickered in her eyes. She knew she was caught. But Margaret didn't back down. Bullies never do. She lunged toward the hall, flashlight raised like a club. My thumb hit the lock button. Steel shutters slammed down. Thump. Thump. Thump, sealing every window, plunging us into darkness. She gasped, her beam useless. Then came the fog, hissing from ceiling vents, thick and disorienting, swallowing her light. She coughed, stumbled, crashed into a chair. Her hands, now smeared with UV dye from the doorknob, marked her every move. Evidence that would glow like guilt under a blacklight. I stayed calm, hidden in the hall, watching her flail on the tablet's low-light feed. "You're contained, Margaret," I said, voice steady. "Recorded. Don't escalate." She swung her flashlight blindly, cursing, hitting the fridge. A bowl clattered to the floor. Metal impact. Dining table, 1:51 a.m. I noted for the mic. She tried the patio door steel, unyielding. Her panic grew, breath ragged. "Ethan, status," I called softly. His walkie clicked. "Still in the spot, Dad." My chest ached with pride and pain. Margaret lunged for my office, where the camera server sat. I moved fast, grabbing a curtain rod, yanking the heavy fabric free. It billowed over her, tangling her arms, forcing her to her knees. "You're done," I said, guiding her down gently, my open hands clear for the camera. "Stop resisting." Outside, porch lights flicked on. A dog barked. The neighborhood stirred. I hit the sirena-piercing wail that shredded the night for 10 seconds, summoning witnesses. Voices gathered. "Nathan, you okay?" called Tom, our nosy neighbor. "Intruder inside," I shouted. "Stay back." A local cop car rolled up, lights flashing. "Evening." I called to the officer, a guy I knew was tight with Margaret. "Conflict of interest. I've called state police. Please stand by." He nodded, staying at the curb. Margaret screamed from the fog. "Officer, it's Margaret. Get him off me." The cop didn't move. "Standing by, ma'am." I opened the front door, keeping others sealed, and faced a crowd of neighbors, phones up, recording. "That's Margaret Voss," I announced. "Broke in at 1:47 a.m., picked locks, carrying zip ties. On camera." Gasps rippled. Margaret, tangled in the curtain, shrieked. "He's lying. It's a setup." I held up the tablet. "Then you won't mind the cameras. Or the dye on your hands." Her glance at her hands betrayed her. State troopers arrived, body cams rolling. "Ma'am." "Hands," the senior trooper said. Her palms glowed purple under their blacklight. "You are under arrest for burglary and trespass," he said, cuffing her as she spat threats. The fog cleared, revealing a crowd of neighbors, their phones capturing her downfall. But the real bombshell came later. I'd slipped a tiny tracker into a violation notice I sent back to Margaret. It pinged her movements for a week, mapping her late-night prowls through backyards, lingering at homes she'd targeted. It led us to a storage unit 10 miles outside Maplewood, in a dusty lot off Route 42. Inside, we found her war room, maps pinned with color-coded houses, files on families, fake badges, audio recorders, and a playbook for intimidation threats of liens, arrests, child services. My name was circled, marked, record, everything. The troopers bagged it all, their faces grim. "This is a major felony case," Detective Harper said. "She's been playing God." The neighborhood exploded. At an emergency HOA meeting, I played the footage, Margaret's break-in, her lies, her zip ties. Neighbors stood, sharing their own stories, threats, fines, fear. The board, once her puppets, voted her out, voided her rules, and promised apologies. Margaret took a plea deal, facing years for stalking, burglary, and conspiracy. The local police faced a state probe. Some officers were sidelined. We rewrote the HOA bylaws, simple and fair, affirming privacy and peace. Ethan sleeps with his door unlocked now. The shutters are bolted open, the fog system off. Sunlight floods our home, and I don't tense at strange cars anymore. Sitting in my armchair, I'm not guarding now, just resting, listening to Ethan laugh in the backyard, a sound sweeter than anything I've known. Was my trap too much? turning our home into a fortress? Did Margaret deserve her fall, or was she just a bully pushed too far? Should I have trusted the system sooner, or was I right to take it into my own hands? What would you have done to protect your family? Share your thoughts below, comment, like, subscribe, and let's talk about where you draw the line.